When you go to these places, when you're taking pictures, how do you separate yourself and not become overwhelmed with sorrow or overwhelmed by the emotions of seeing people suffering so much?
I don't separate myself. Photography for me is a way of opening myself. It's a way of making contact. And the emotions are certainly very powerful. And sometimes they tend to be overpowering. But for me to be effective as a photographer, I have to not become overwhelmed, but to take these strong emotions and channel them into my work so that some of what I'm feeling is translated to a wide audience.
I've seen the documentary War Photographer, and one of the things that truly amazed me about watching you work in that documentary was how this sheer insanity can be happening all around you, but you seem absolutely calm. And so I just wanted to ask you, how do you remain so calm when there's so much chaos around?
It's a matter of concentration, having a goal, having a sense of purpose, and concentrating my mental focus on what I'm doing. You can't get into a chaotic situation and fall apart. At that point, you're ineffective. So if you go someplace for a purpose, you want to fulfill that purpose, and it requires you to, keep yourself together and pay attention and concentrate and get the job done well.
Another thing that really struck me is the intimacy that it seemed like you had with the people around you. It just amazed me that you could be so close to someone with a camera, and it was almost like you weren't there. Like they didn't even see you, but you were right in front of them. And it almost seemed like there was some type of magic happening.
Well, that comes with acceptance. And acceptance is a product of how you approach people, how you speak to them, what you say, how you look at someone, to let them understand that you have sympathy for them, that you respect what they're going through, respect them as individuals, and developing a kind of rapport and trust with individual peoples. Photography could be very intrusive. It could be very aggressive if you allow it to be. And I think that sort of breaks the bond that's necessary to establish that kind of intimacy and trust.
Is there any point in time that you look at an image and say, I don't like how that's portraying that individual? Or does anything ever happen like that with your own work when you view it?
Well, there's the process of making the image, and then there's the process of editing. My goal is not to exploit someone, it's to help them. And so if I see a picture that I think would, misrepresent that person or what they're going through, I won't choose it in my editing. But I think it's very important for people to understand something, for both publishers and the public to understand that because someone is suffering does not mean they don't have dignity. Because someone is poor does not mean they don't have dignity. In a way, someone who's suffering expresses dignity even in a more powerful way. And I only mention that because I've run into this sort of blockade from time to time where a publisher will say, well, we can't show someone suffering because it undermines their dignity. And I say, no, it does not.